I remembered a book I'd read called UFOs and Nukes by Robert Hastings.
Mm,
Many anecdotal reports of people who were working on nuclear tests that said they saw UAP either right before, during, or right after nuclear tests. So I decided to pull in the dates of all of those above ground nuclear tests that we did, the Soviets did, and the British did between 1949 and 57. And so we had basically three things. We had, did a transient occur? And if so, how many were there on that day? And then what were there UAP sightings that day? And if so, how many? And was there a nuclear test that day? And we had about 2,700 days in our data set with all this information. One weekend, I pulled out my statistics program and looked at this just to see if there was any hint of a relationship. And honestly, I was shocked because what we found was that on what we call a nuclear window, which is plus or minus 1 day around a nuclear test, there was a 45% increase in the chances of seeing a transient, which is quite a
wow.
bit. And it
Yeah.
was highly significant statistically. There was 8 chances out of 1,000 that that was an error. And that's the main focus of the paper. And the other finding related to that that was more interesting is after we sent it into the journal to be reviewed by other scientists, one of them came back and said, you know, you need to look in more detail at the exact timing of this. Don't just look at a window. And I started looking 2 days before a test, 1 day before a nuclear test, same day, 1 day after, and 2 days after. And it was really amazing because it turned out that most of the effect came because there was a transient more likely to appear the day after a nuclear test. And it was actually a 68% increase in likelihood of seeing a transient, which is a big number.
Wow.
And it's really it's the difference between on days without nuclear tests, there was about 11% of days there was at least one transient. But if there'd been a nuclear test, there was almost 19% of the days had a transient.
Mm.
So it was a really big increase. And that's what the paper's about.